Okay. Don't let this distract you. Yeah, don't let it distract you. I just wanted to do that. I want to do like this huge, you know. Just like going all over the set. Got a couple minutes, you know, a whole crowd, and then just finish it with. The most amazing thing you've ever seen. So we got the Monster Nitro there. So yeah, obviously the new pedal kicker, I keep calling it that. It's a hammer is what it is. The hammer I got, it's a Vic Firth instead of a Tama, and I actually really like it. I'm not saying a Tama's bad or anything. I'm just saying, like, instead of the Tama, they had a Vic Firth, so I got that. And it's pretty good. I actually like it a lot. Obviously, you can tell it really was the the hammer. Just like, I really could not hit the drum. It required full effort to hit it even once at the correct timing. So like, you know, with the bounce proper. So now I got that. Now, I mean, I still have to get this one, that one still, you can tell that one sounds weird. That's the old head. That's why. This one's new. So is the bass drum. So I also got, they handed me this. And yeah, like, it was nice because I replaced the lug screw. So I did do that. Like I said, I just wasn't feeling well, so but I did do that. I did replace the lug screw, and I replaced, like I said, the hammer. I just have to do this head yet. Because remember, I was wrong again. It's actually a weird size. It's not 12 and 16. I'm sorry, 12 and 14. I'm sorry. It's not 12, 14, 16. It's actually that's 18, isn't it? It's 12 and 13. So that's why this one was weird, because it was a 13. I actually think, yeah, it might be a 16. Floor toms. I mean, again, toms are pretty standard, but sometimes you have weird sizes like that. That's a 13. Hello. My snare drum is a normal, I think there's 14s, right? Those are pretty standard. Like I said, I know some people have some smaller ones too for the higher pop. I think mine's a 14. Yeah, just looking at it versus my 12-inch tom here, it's probably a 14. But I like the Remo heads. They're good. We got the controlled sound coded. That's what we got here. It's got the black circle in the center, and it's coded. And then for the toms, so this is the coded. Sounds pretty good. I'm gonna tune it up a bit too. This is the Emperor Vintage Clear. Sounds good even when you hit it hard. And by the way, I had mentioned about my old heads having oil in the middle, and that's why they had the ring. Apparently, as I was opening them up, I actually saw that pattern on some of these heads. So I think they actually just come like that now, I'll be honest with you. I think that maybe that's probably why I switched to I don't remember why I switched to Remo. I just remember at a certain point I was like, really like these heads. Nothing against, like, I actually still like pearl heads too. But I really like the Remo heads. Anyway, this floor tom, again, skipping the 13 because we don't have one for the 13. The floor tom is the Remo Emperor Clear. It's very similar to this, except it's not the vintage clear. It's the Emperor Clear. So it's actually a clearer coat than this one. It's pretty. You just see right through it, like it's packing tape or something. This one has a bit of a frost. And I need to get, I don't have a bottom head on this. I need to get one. So it doesn't really quite sound right without that. That's why it sounds like brr, brr, you know, like it's going out the bottom and just going everywhere. It's not a controlled sound. And I don't particularly have any noise canceling in here too, so it's just this is the worst environment for acoustics, by the way. Like the worst. It's bouncing around all over the place. You're getting ringing from all kinds of stuff. You hear this thing ringing. You know, you'll be hitting this. You'll hear my snare drum. You'll hear this. Like, you don't want that. That's the sound going everywhere, you know. So it really is the worst for acoustics, but again, the heads sound good. And then the bass drum. Trying to remember. How's it go? It made me think of Terminator. It's not like that though. It's something like that. I think it is that. I just see the Terminator skull being zoomed in on, you know, with flames around it. Freaking love those movies, man. T2 is unbeatable. You can't beat it. Drinking, taking a quick drink here. Taking a quick drink of the nitro here. So we talked about the block. The block, I like the block because the block is good if you need this side of the drum sound, like you know, like you can't even hear it. So like it works. It works fine. Works fine because you can actually hear it. This, you're never going to hear that over all that. Hello. up higher. Balance is okay. Yeah, I don't have any problems with balance. That seems fine. Again, I don't want to tighten the bottom head too much. Mainly the reason for that is because I don't know how old this bottom head is. I hear it cracking. It's a pearl head, so I really don't know how old that head is. It might be the original head. That's a lot better. That's an immediate improvement. It's immediately an improvement. Hope you guys are doing well. Just want to play all the drums with you today, since I promised that and I got sick. Basically you try to get them to the same tightness, but like a lot of the time, so if you don't know how to tune a drum, a lot of the time it's about then sort of tapping around the edges to hear the tone. However, with the snare on the opposite head, it's actually harder to do that. Now you can release the snare, but it's still like loose there when you do that then. And then, you know, at the same time, I just think it's a little easier with the bottom head to just tune to the same tightness, flip it, test it, see how you like it. You're not getting a bounce from the bottom head. So it's more about tone. It's more about tuning it to your ear anyway, because you're not hitting that head anyway. The top one, that matters. That has to be the same tightness around it. You're going to break the head. The head won't last long. And it won't sound right either. Like, it just won't. Now that sounds freaking awesome. I'm not getting proper balance. I think I need to tighten the head. But like you can hear, like I can hit it fine. Like, I can get balance. I'm just like a proper balance. It's going do. So I probably just need to tighten it a little bit to get that boom. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. It's been a while. It's been a while. It's seriously. I used to play drums. For many years, many years. I've been doing it since probably I was like 9. Because there's an old drum set we had from like 70s, and I would just sit down here, 60s maybe. I'd just play it. And some of these cymbals are actually from that. Like that's why they're like broken and stuff. This small one and the hi-hat are mine, but those 3 are original cymbals. That's why I don't sound very good. But No, they're I think they're still Zildjian, actually. At least one or two of them, I think. No, that one, my ride is. That one's not. But I mean, the ride's the one that's lasted, and the other one has a chunk out of it. um, but you know, shortly around when I was graduating, I got this drum set, and it still lasted me. You guys know I sat here and I cleaned it with you. So that's the history of this drum set, and it's still the same one I had since all those years ago. It still sounds good, does it not? It shines up nice. I mean, it's incredible. Now, something that I'm sort of discovering about myself that I didn't realize when I was younger, and now that I'm older and wiser, I'm realizing. And I think it's what the man realized about certain things about himself too. Um, maybe. I'm just spitballing. I can't speak for him, obviously, but I'm just saying maybe because based on some things that he said too in interviews. So basically, I'm realizing that I I am like too big for this set. Like the bass, it's a pretty standard set, but even when I sit behind it, I'm sure you can tell like it almost looks like a toy set. Like where my, like I'm sure you could tell. It's really just that I need a bigger bass drum. Because when I hit that bass drum, I hit it with so much force, the thing's shifting around. And it's got little legs, it's fastened, and there's carpet and everything. It works great. It's not actually shifting around, but it's trying to. That's me with more, body mass than the bass drum can handle, basically. So I'm basically just rationalizing something I didn't realize, like I'm older and wiser now, and I'm realizing, yeah, I should probably get a bass drum with maybe like a couple inches larger. Just by like 2 inches or so. Just a little bit larger. And I didn't realize that. And just like all those years I spent trying to throw a football around and stuff like that, not understanding that I got really big hands, really, really big hands, but my fingers are like, I'm lanky. So you want gloves. Like, it doesn't mean that you still don't got big hands, you can't catch that ball, trust me. But you still want gloves. And it's just something I didn't realize. And so like through like life and experience and stuff like that. And like tennis players discover that too. But like with Zach Wilde, the reason I mention him is because he started developing his own guitars, Wild Audio, phenomenal guitars, phenomenal amps too. But his guitars, like, it is as much as he loved Epiphone Gibson over the years and stuff like that, and still using, and I'm sure he still has a obvious love for him. It's still ingrained in who he is. But I think partially the reason was because he always wanted something heavy, bigger and heavier. It has to feel like I don't know, like a steel beam or something. Like he is a big dude with big arms, and he's taller than me, I think. I'm a pretty tall guy. And I think he's actually like an inch or so taller than me, even. And, yeah, I would feel the same way. I would feel like I'm breaking the guitar every time I play it. Like, I have to be careful. And it's like, is that what you want? You want to rock out, man. So I think at a certain point, that's sort of, I've sort of translated that to my own experience where that's why I realized it. So I started relating. Maybe that's some of the things that I'm seeing with some other people that did that too, where, maybe it was just like a small factor, I'm not saying a main factor or anything, just probably factored into it where I related it to my own experience and I'm like, well, it's probably not just me. It's probably like a lot of people. Maybe it's even Zach Wild. Who knows? Drinking my nitro here. But yeah, I'm not saying he said that or anything. I'm just saying it's a possibility. I knew that at one time he did say he likes his guitars to be heavier, but that was when he was still playing, the Grail and stuff like that on stage. Like, not that he doesn't play it. I'm just saying he any more live and stuff, and on the albums and stuff, recording and stuff. He's playing the wide audio. That's what he's playing. It sounds great. Nobody questions it either. I think it's funny. Nobody even, you know, you know what I mean? Like, the man is that good at engineering a guitar line and a line of amps. All right. Yeah, I gotta tighten this, I think. Is a little bit. Yeah, even my floor tom feels tighter than I don't want it to be too high. Oh yeah. Yeah, that one's tricky because my pedal's in the way. That's what it was. There was a lug screw down here I barely tightened, and I didn't realize it because it's that one that's hard to get to because my foot pedal's in the way. So that's what it was. Guess that it's been a while. This is the stuff that you'll remember right away when you do it. When you do it all the time. Oh yeah, that's immediately. Immediately sounds better too. I think I can actually tighten it even a little more. By the way, if you guys like Sabbath, I highly recommend you go see Zach Sabbath. They're on tour. I think they're on tour soon. I know he's still with Pantera too, but I think they're finishing that up. And I don't know if he's going back out with them, but I know they're working on something, and Zach Sabbath is going to be touring. So go see them. Really good stuff. You got Zach, being the front man of that. And I think it's just Black Label now. I'll be honest. I know for a while it was a few other guys. Like he was just working with some other guys, but because they wanted to do it, I think. But I think it's just Black Label Society now, filling some of those roles, like the drummer. I think JD, but I could be wrong. I think that's who's doing it. use this headphone, it sounds so weird now that I have everything a lot more tuned. It really does sound really weird. I'll like try to avoid hitting it. Because it's like... Oh, man. It's a freaking cowbell. Is that, somebody tell me, is that a cowbell or a wood block in the gallows in the new song? Somebody please tell me. I don't have an ear for it anymore. I'm like, is it a cowbell, a low, like a big, just a big one, or is it a wooden block? You know, in the breakdown, where it's like, doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo, you will be the first. They like it's doing the drum riff, and there's like a, it's like a. But it's not that high pitch of a cowbell. I don't know if it's a wood block or if it's just a really big cowbell. Or if he's using a special type of mallet, so it sounds different. I must know. And then I'm like looking in the video and they don't show any clips of the drummer in that section of the video. I'm like, no! Yeah, that's all right. I'll live. But I like the love the riff in that, and I love the song. I swear, Zach plays like Elden Ring or something. There's no way that song is not about Elden Ring. Maybe I just see that because I'm playing the game. Listen to The Gallows by Black Label Society and tell me it's not literally the story of Elden Ring. It's pretty epic. Sorry, I'm just finishing my nitro. I apologize. Yeah, you'd never have, when you're recording, that's why they have like the soft stuff, like the big squares mounted on the wall. Those are sound canceling things. So if you ever see somebody with like a studio, that's why you see those square things. Those are for sound dampening. They're called sound dampeners. And so when I hit this, if you hear my snare on the bottom of my snare drum, you're going to hear it. Ready? Did you hear it? So basically, those sound dampeners and the carpets in the room, the drywall and all that is there specifically for sound dampening so that when you hit this, you don't hear that. Because it's going to get dampened. Sometimes they even they take the bottom heads off. They're going to mic each drum. And then they're going to put a little mute kicker that looks similar to a bass drum mallet, except it's got a flat head and it just sits under the drum. And it mutes the drum so that it doesn't reverberate past the mic. So you can still hear the drum. It's not really technically muted, but the sound doesn't actually get past the mic. If that makes sense. Back in the old days, they would just throw like pillows and blankets in the bass drum. So you could do that, low budget muting. Just don't put it near your mic. Like static before. Thanks for watching, guys. This is the old one. Look how bad this looks. And like there's really no weight to it either. This was the old one. There's like nothing back here. Like the new one that I have has like a whole thing to it where like there's weight to it. This one, like, I don't know like how I ever even used this. So like, cause there's not even any real weight to it. And as you can see, it's like, I don't know if you can tell there, but like it's pretty worn out there. That thing is done. That's probably hard to tell from the video, but it's pretty done. It looks pretty bad. And like I said, it's a slightly different design than this one that I replaced it with. But it was specifically meant for the Iron Cobra. In case you're wondering, I have the Tama Iron Cobra. That's the pedal that I have. I use various equipment. You're gonna find that that's the case with most musicians. Very, very rarely does a musician use all the same brand of stuff. Because they like what they like. And in the music business, that's often why the companies are like supportive of each other and stuff like that. You'll just see a little bit of a different attitude towards that stuff because that's how everybody is, you know. Like they want to be able to do that, you know. Otherwise, then there goes their sound, you know. Like you know, if they know they can get a certain sound out of this one specific thing. But then with this other, you know, like of course you do that. So I really do like the way the Iron Cobra feels. It's a really nice quick pedal that I could use where I'm not somebody that plays with a double pedal. But even if you got a double pedal, I would highly recommend the Iron Cobra still, because you can get one. Trust me, you'll get some of the fastest. I think you'll get some of the fastest bass drum easy. Some of those rhythms that are hard to do and stuff. Trust me, they'll be suddenly really easy for you to do. It really isn't a very nice pedal. But as I discovered with this mallet that I replaced it with, which is a Vic Firth, is actually better than the original mallet that I think it came with. But I don't know. I feel like there's a piece missing. I feel like it shouldn't look like that. As soon as I saw this, I feel like it shouldn't look like that. So, like, I don't know. I feel like maybe it was just, like, defective originally. I didn't even realize it. But I was always happy with the pedal. That was the original mallet, and I've had it all these years, and it was still good. And I used it no problem. I just didn't complain about it. I just got really good at using my foot. Like, obviously, I'm not as good at it now, but I'll get there. I just have to bring it to practice again. I'm nowhere near, like, I'm sure you guys saw me upload that video from, like, way back. And I had taken a few years break even after uploading that video. But that was when I was younger. That was, I could just go right back into it. It really is different when you're younger. Seriously, you really take for granted that you could just go right back into something. You can't do that at a certain point. You have to relearn it. But it comes back. It does. It just takes a bit more practice. You have to actually do it. I'd sit here and come up with theories for songs and stuff. And just screw around like that. And then you got a song. That's why, like, too, like, if you, in case you're wondering, like, I always said that when I play drums, like, you guys hear me tapping my hands and stuff. Let me just say, that is extremely deceiving. Somebody that can sit here and really, like, practice on their stereo world stuff. It'd be like sort of thinking that anybody that's a martial artist could immediately pick up a weapon. No, they have to practice that. It's an extension of that. So it's extremely easy to do this stuff if you're a drummer. Extremely, extremely easy. Because you have it built in. So you're just duplicating all that with your hands and fingers. That's easy to do if you have dexterity with your fingers. Translating that to this is totally different. So, when you guys hear me do that and stuff like that, and yeah, like, I can technically do all that stuff, remember those complex riffs, and I know how to do it. But can I translate it to sticks? Every single time? I mean, that stuff's hard to play a lot of times. And so you have to realize that a drummer, just like a guitarist, has to use their strengths and weaknesses. What are they good at? What are they not good at? I've never sat here and practiced double pedal. So it's incredibly unrealistic for me to think that I'm going to sit here and suddenly pick up double pedal. Just not going to do it. So how can I use the fact that I'm really good at this? With that concept, and suddenly you start having something. But the whole point is that you still have to be able to translate that, make it sound good. But that's my little coaching tip for you is always use your strengths. Don't look at a weakness as something that I shouldn't do that thing. No. You're human. There's things you're not going to be good at. Focus on what you're good at. Don't not do that thing. But if you're struggling, you're not getting it, move on. You see how I sat here? Let me give you an example. I sat here with my pedal, and I had trouble earlier. I don't know if you noticed. And I stopped, and I figured it out. I didn't make an excuse. I just stopped. I looked at my foot, and I broke it down, and I stopped this. Or no, was it that I kept going with this and didn't? Yeah, I broke it down a little bit more, and then I was like, there it is. There it was. Then I started adding the whole rest of the riff again. And I'm like, okay, now I got it again. I had to backwards engineer my own brain from when I knew how to do this. So it was the bass drum beat before the snare drum hit instead of after. Program it. And I just for some reason wasn't doing it, so I had to break it down. It's the same, again, that's what you want to do. You want to, and if it's not working, it's not working, it's what, don't do that to yourself. Don't sit there. Just move on. Find something else. Trust me. If anything, like I said, do the simpler part of it. Where you're where you're trying to break it down just with that and then add this. Like literally that's what I would do, and that's exactly what I did do, and it's a matter of then just adding it after the fact and doing it after that, So if you're struggling really hard with something, I'm not saying don't figure it out, but don't be afraid to put it off and come back later and focus on what you're really good at, because you can always perfect what you're already good at. So yeah, and when I sit and I play, just explain a little bit about me. Sometimes I've said, like, when I drum, I sound like this drummer and this drummer and this drummer and this drummer. Well, that's because the reason I say that is because I grew up playing all these different bands. You guys are sitting on the speaker right now that I would blast music through, and I would play Sevendust. I would play, well, Black Label Society, but Black Sabbath, just everything, man, just everything, Korn, everything. I would try even the hard stuff. I would try Tool and fail miserably. I was always really fast, but I could never do the, and what I found was I got somewhere in between where I found Sevendust, and I found these progressive drummers that were still really difficult to play their style, but it spoke to me. I liked it. For some reason, I was okay at playing the Sevendust stuff. For some reason, I could play that. But Tool, I just couldn't. And like, some people would think Sevendust is like you know what I mean? Like, it's actually different. Some drummers would think that's, like, it's, everybody has their things they're good at. So that was the gateway. Once I started doing that stuff, then the other stuff made more sense to me. So there's always like a gateway band that's like, or a gateway artist that's like, now you can understand how to play this stuff or this stuff. So that's why, like, in case you're wondering, that's why I've stated, like, oh, I play like this drummer, I play like this drummer, and then I sit here and I just play simple beats and stuff like that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to you like I'm like some really good drummer or something like that. At one time I was. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to come back or not, but yeah, one time I could literally sit here and play I could start playing along to any song, even if it was a Tool song, make it sound relatively the same, but my own way. I could not play it the same way, but it would sound good enough that, yeah, you covered the song. And that's all you need to do. Nobody expects you to be, again, like, I'll be honest with you, I've heard a lot of covers over the years of people trying to cover a Zakk Wylde song on guitar. And I will tell you one thing, they get it so spot on until the solo. And I'm not like, that's not to be rude. It's just that, like, almost nobody's that precise. Like that damn good, that precise. And then, like, can maintain it through the solo and hit every single one of those notes. So, you skip a few and you do it a little bit slower, a little bit of a slower pace. And that's what a lot of people do, and you see that. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's still a good solo. But, Zakk, he's still Zakk. And there's still a reason you're listening to him, watching him play it the way he can play it. And so, you gain a new appreciation once you figure out how to play it for how good some of these guys are. You get to that level and you're like, damn, he's still showing me up. I can play it and he's still better. Okay. you get it. And that was what a lot of people were saying about Ozzy too, about him, like his vocals and stuff like that. He was just so good. Like, even once you learn how to sing, it still doesn't sound like, it was still just you singing it. There was nothing like hearing Ozzy singing that, there really isn't. One thing I will say, though, is I heard Disturbed did a live cover of Paranoid recently, and holy shit did that sound good. Holy shit did that oh my god, that sounded freaking amazing. So that I will say Dave Draiman, he deserves respect for what he can do. And so does that band. They sounded so good. Um, and that's one of those, like, Sabbath is one of those bands where there's a simplicity to it, but you respect what they did at the level they played it, once you try to duplicate it. You realize how good they actually were. And yeah, like most bands, in my opinion, they sort of kind of end up, like, you hear it and it's like, yeah, that was pretty good, but then, like, Zach Sabbath does it and you're like, oh my god, he's been playing Sabbath his whole life. And then Disturbed plays it and you're like, they probably have too, like, damn. So, you gotta respect. Something to do with that. I could do it that way. You know, I really need to get another drum head for this. This doesn't sound right. This is the easy way. This is the easy way, by the way. If I showed you how to do it, you'd be disappointed. It's a trick. It's easy. That little spin, that's the easy way. That's meant to look cool. It's extremely easy. If I showed you, it would spoil it. And if you see it at a different angle, it looks totally different. I get a drink. So that spin, I can teach it to you. But again, don't let somebody record you from the wrong angle if you're a drummer. This is one of those things where you gotta turn your hand if you see that, because otherwise it won't look right. So again, it's a trick. You're not really spinning it around anything. It's literally a trick. So hand like this. So when you're gonna go do that, just immediately flip it. And all I'm doing is bending my middle finger. It's literally it. I'm just bending my middle finger. That's it. It's just a trick. So don't let somebody record you this way. It looks totally different. It does not look cool at all. This. Always this way. Because it looks cool, does it not? It looks super cool. But the other one's way more... I've seen drummers do it, and the other one's respectful. They're actually flipping it around their hand and stuff. I can't do that one. I have no idea how they do it. I just have to learn it, practice it. But this one is the one I always did. And it's very similar to what's called a cigaring a sword in Kung Fu. So it just works for me. And like, even if it gets a little goofy and you do it wrong, it still looks cool. Because I was actually not really doing it right there. But there I was. And then if like you just hit your wrist or something, you can catch it really quick. So like that's the nice thing, is like, it's one of those ones where as a drummer you can do it a couple times really quick, catch it and keep playing. So you can just go boom. So like that's what it's for. It's actually just meant to really quick do that while you're playing. And that is typically when like you would use it as that, like a flare or something like that. Like you're in a rest in a song and like the camera's on you and you're like making your face or whatever, and you flip it a couple times and you just keep going. Yeah, that's what it's typically used for. So that way you're not like losing the stick or doing something risky with it where you could lose it. Now you got to grab another one. You don't really typically want to do that. So again, I'm literally just dipping my hand down, back up, down, back up. See it? Now you can flip a drumstick. I mean, you still got to do it. You still got to practice it and be able to do it. I mean, I guess it's not the easiest thing in the world, but again, it is a trick versus there is a different way. And like I said, I don't know what that is. But there you go. There's like a main way to flip your drumstick. And again, this angle only. So there you go. And always realize there's a showman aspect to everything. So like, while that sounds disappointing, don't let it, because everything has a showman aspect. You know, you have to understand that, like, just like a streamer doesn't talk about the things behind the scenes sometimes because it ruins the magic. That's the point. Like, just like you know, how long did Slipknot not reveal their faces? You know, and stuff like that. Like, there's a showman aspect to it, and you got to respect that. So, for those who you know have that in their music or their art or whatever they're doing, again, just realize that you know, like I said, practice, and try not to be too disappointed. You know, like when that gets out, stuff like that, just try to look at it like that. Like, well, there is always a showman aspect to something, and eventually that's going to become known. So just try to take that with a responsible nature. Well, it's kind of what everybody does, so back off a little bit, you know, like just be responsible about it and respectful about it, and I think they'll eventually they'll kind of like be like, oh yeah, well, because that's true, you know, like because it is. You have a message or whatever, you know, like that's typically why people name their band what they name their band or whatever, you know, their lyrics have a theme or a purpose or a message, or you know, like things like that, or maybe they don't. Maybe they don't mean any of that. Maybe they're just lyrics, you know, or you know, but just realize that everybody's different and everybody looks at that different. So I just want to be a little respectful of that, and if you know that little trick and you know that, try not to like ruin it for, you know, anybody else and stuff like that. Just be respectful of that. And believe it or not, you know, there are a lot of drummers that do still tricks and stuff like that. They're just they're still really good at drumming. It's just a show for you, though. You know, they're if anything, the fact that they can do that in the middle of what they're doing is really impressive. You know, like that's the point, you know. So, got to give that to them. I actually thought it was super impressive, anybody playing a guitar. Now, let me put this out there. Because playing electric guitar is actually really, really hard to do. But anybody that then plays electric guitar and you sing, holy shit. That is incredible. Now add moving around on the stage, smiling, throwing your guitar up in the air, making like gestures, like faces, and like basically the playing and the singing is second nature to you. Everything else is what you're focusing on. That is incredible. That is an incredible amount of skill, and you should pay respect to anybody that can do things like that. So that's where you have to recognize that there's the magic. The magic is in seeing how amazingly talented people are that can do things like that. And you know, just again, like I'll show you little things here and there that like I'm gonna explain. There's a showmanship to it, and you know, don't do this way, or so, you know, like just like I said, as a trick, you know, with the sticks, but then still respect to the fact that just because somebody's twirling their sticks, that doesn't suddenly translate to them being a bad drummer or something like that. You know, no, they're just putting on a show for you. Some people like that. They want you to show off. Absolutely nobody that goes to a Black Label Society show and does not expect Zakk Wylde to stand there and solo for half the concert. That is what they expect to see. So he's going to do it. He's going to show off. I want him to. Please, for the love of God, show off because you're good at it. So respect that. Like it's we want that. The fans want that. That's what they signed up for. And it's not cringe. That's what it's for. That's amazing. What's cringe is when people take away from it and offer a negative opinion instead of saying nothing at all. I think that's cringe. I think that's always cringe when people have something negative to say instead of moving on with them. So I think that's like that's always been cringe for me. was like, ah. It's not. This one's just totally fine. My stick work with this one needs. That's how I always was before too. I have to. I gotta focus really. I am not left-handed. Absolutely not. And so you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, drummers are ambidextrous. No, they're not. No, they are not. So that is a common misconception. Drummers are not, I repeat, not ambidextrous. Not. They struggle and learn through immense practice on how to separate the limbs. And part of the reason why you can tell, now some drummers, all right, so the drummers, not every, all right, so maybe some drummers are ambidextrous. And the drummers that you see with wraparound sets where they can stand up and it like it's nothing, okay, they're probably ambidextrous. But the reason why you can tell a drummer is an ambidextrous is because, again, they either play right or left-handed. They will have their hi-hat literally here. It will always be here. They will never switch to the other side. The people that are ambidextrous, you will see them with wraparound sets. They will roll up the other way. I will never see drummers roll up the other way. I do it once in a while. It is so hard to do, though, because you have to ascend, too. You're so used to going down. And, again, your right hand hits that hi-hat because it's better at... So your left hand's just... So your right hand's doing most of that quick comeback work, and your left hand's the fill. And vice versa for left-handed players. So the whole point is that's why we cross. You see us cross like this. And so, like, you know, the whole point is it's not, drummers really are not ambidextrous per se, because again, they all start right or left-handed. Somebody that's ambidextrous, like that's somebody that like, they can write with both hands. Like they really don't notice that much of a difference. And like it's really, 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 really rare. And I cannot do that. I struggle. I try to write with my left hand, it looks like shit. I mean, I've read with my right hand, it looks like shit, but... But you get what I'm saying. So that's a common misconception about drummers is like they're not ambidextrous. They start, you know, like again, if you're thinking about drumming, and you're not ambidextrous, don't let that, I guess the point is don't let that thwart you from drumming. If you're watching and it looks like I'm a good drummer, I'm not. If it seems like I am, there's a lot of drummers out there a lot better than this. I used to be very good. Right now? No, I wouldn't say so. And what you have to realize, too, is you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be able to grade yourself. And be okay with it. Otherwise, you have no business performing in front of people. Remember that. Always remember that. If you can't honestly grade yourself, you have no business performing in front of people. Always remember that, because people will expect a certain amount of entertainment quality. So just remember that about yourself. Practice is everything, but always have something really good before you take it out and try to think that anybody's going to be entertained by that. Like, have something good, have something worth, that I have something to entertain you with, or whatever, You get what I'm saying. It's sort of like, obviously I don't expect to make songs like this. That's the point. Like, that's basic. Like, everybody's heard that. So that's why, like, I was playing around earlier and I showed you more about, like, how, like that riff I was doing earlier. That's more closer to how I would do a song, where it still sounds kind of simple, but it's different. Like, it's not like just the same thing you keep hearing, So, like, it's enough different, and it's not like there's never a riff that's ever sounded kind of like that, but it's still enough different that, yeah, I was differing enough, and somebody else that was there with a guitar could play along to it and come up with something, and it would sound cool, So really, that's really what you need to do, and you need to it needs to be able to be something that you can maintain. You have to maintain it. Like, you want to be in a band or something, you have to be able to maintain it. So remember that. Don't ever do something as a drummer. Like, your job as a drummer is to maintain the backbone and rhythm section of the band. They're following you. When everybody else loses, they're gonna look at you. Like if something happens, they're gonna all turn around and look at the drummer, and the drummer better be. So like, that's why you start off with that. That's why I'm starting off with that again, and accepting that's where I'm at, and moving on from there. Like, I could do the fills and stuff like that, but I'm not necessarily trying to add it to that until I. Get the basics back again. That's the point. Till I can get the basics back to the fast speed level that I can do my fills, I shouldn't add the fills. Because they have to be at the same speed. Otherwise, I'm going to be doing them in a different tempo. It's going to screw me all up. So, you can practice them separately, learn how to add them. And, it's sort of like sparring in martial arts. If you're doing point sparring and stuff like that, that's great for sport, I guess, if you're doing that, but it doesn't teach you much about a real fight. Because when in a real fight, does everybody go, all right, stop, break, you got a point? It doesn't actually teach you to keep going and stuff like that. So just like with drumming, if you're stopping too much, where's the skill? How does that teach you how to keep going? Simple. Just like with guitar. When you learn guitar, and you first learn guitar, you want basic riffs. Yeah, like I'll give them that. The riffs a lot of times are, they're supposed to be, and that's great. So, but this still sounds so amazing. So, like that's the point. You have to be able to do that basic and still keep going. And then you can add fills. And only then. If you could add, like, the whole point is you have to be able to maintain that. You can't be adding it if you can't do it. And then continue the tempo of what you're doing. Otherwise, there's no purpose. It's stuff you can't do. Oftentimes, what people make the mistake of trying to do is doing too long of a fill. This is the tip I'll give you. When you see me doing these fills, don't try to do them that way. Actually, I have very rarely seen drummers that know how to properly time a fill and do it where it can include all the toms and still get through it in the proper timing, because you have to have started that at the exact right place you were supposed to, hit the cymbal and get back to your original beat. I've seen a lot of even pro drummers, like, they just stay away from it. It's risky because you have to time it right, you have to get through the fill, and then everybody else, you just have to be dead on your timing. So they stay away from it. What you want to remember to do, though, which will be something that'll help you get this eventually, that you can do, is you can do slower tempo notes with your fills. So if you want to start learning how to do that stuff, just slow them down. And don't try to do practice that like a million freaking times. Literally 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. I still need to get a little more relaxed at it again too. But the point is, that was one solo that I was very good at. So the whole point is slow it down. That's about the pace I need to practice it at right now. Properly. It's because my knee is in the way, actually. So I should raise the drum up. That's actually why. I'm hitting myself. Something I wouldn't have realized when I was younger. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to break that down when I was younger. The future was so bright. Wow, El neighborhood was so alive. Whoa, every kid on the whole damn street. But I have Offspring in my head so much. The Offspring. I think it's something like... It's like... something like that. I gotta listen to it. I'd have to have it. The unfortunate thing is, like, unless you know the song inside out, a lot of times when you start playing, your own rhythm that you're playing overrides the one you're trying to hear in your head. So unless it's playing, you know, somebody's there with a guitar, that's why you need the band. You know? That's why you need music. That's why people do drum tabs. I just never did it. I just always just played along. I think it's... Do-do-do-do-do-do. Something like that. Actually, I think it's doubles on the hi-hat, actually. I like that one though. I like that. It sounds like an explosion. I always liked that. They use that in Want You Bad too. Song very well. Like if it's playing and I hear the drum riff, yeah, I can just start playing along to it. That's pretty easy. See if I can remember. I think it's delayed. I don't think it's there. I need to tune that. That is still giving me problems. Yeah, it's like lazy. Maybe it's the tightness of the chain. Oh, you know what? I might need to oil that. That might be what it is. Because I used to play, well, that's Green Day. I used to play When I Come Around. Cry loud. speak out of the crowd. I used to play that all the time. And I played, do you have the time to listen to me whine? Yeah, about nothing and everything all at once. I am one of those melodramatic fools, neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it. And that's like, no, that's not why that creeps. That's not why please fix it. It all keeps adding up. And then there's like a ridiculous fill. So it's like, I think it's, it all keeps adding up. I guess so. And that's like, do 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 do. To adolescent dreams. Hold on, I'm trying to remember. That would probably work. Something like that. My cymbal being there. You see how I was like hesitant? That's why, is because like I go to hit my cymbal, it's not there. Just anywhere. I love cowbell. Yeah, I would probably regularly use it if I wrote music. I love it so much. I am such a Will Ferrell with cowbell. Do I get a record contract now? Because I just come in. More cowbell! I'm just thinking of the whole scene where he just comes in with the cowbell. That's why I'm laughing so hard. It's funny just thinking about it. Wasn't it Jimmy Fallon in that scene too? He's just trying to... They're just trying to record a song. That was amazing. That was brilliant. That was brilliant. He just comes in with those freaking cowbells. More cowbell! No, I think we really need more Calvin. Oh my God. I love Will Ferrell. I also love Chad Smith too. He's a good drummer. Don't confuse the two too much, just because they did a little comedy skit on how they look alike. That's rude. Call him Chad Smith. Call him by his name, man. Don't be rude. Just like when you boo David Draymond at a concert because you disagree with him. Man, don't do that. Why'd you go? Because you wanted to see the other bands? Well, pay respect. I mean, he's there too. That's just messed up. Like, just leave that shit at home. It's fun. It's fun. It's still fun. Even though I suck. Even though it sucks. Hey. 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 I think it wasn't it hanging around Counting Crows? Did that have like no snare? I think it's she sat right down on the sofa. Where have you been? I've been waiting for you. I think it starts off like that. This town corner. I don't know. I'm just making. I don't remember the drum riff. I was just trying to hear it in my head follow along. I think I sort of got the tempo, but I have to hear how the lead into the chorus is because that's why I messed up the fill. I don't know how long the gap is there. You have to know the rest, like the gap, because I don't want to like change the song too much. You know, I don't want to add as a fill. That song shouldn't have it. It should be something like that. Like it shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like you're not. So I don't want to do that with it. But I would want to hear it again and hear how that bridges the gap, so I would know how to translate to what I want to do. But I still wouldn't do like my heavy, like necessarily snare work and like fast playing for that, because that song wouldn't make sense. It's a slower tempo. But I'd still do it different. It'd be fun. I'd probably do it with more. Hanging around. Something like that. Maybe. Maybe not. Or I'd keep the snare open and, you know, just for a different sound the whole way through. Because I don't think they have it open the whole song, do they? They may. because that's the snare open. Obviously, I have it on. I call it open. Isn't that what you call it? Off. I have the snare off. What do you call it? Open? No, for some reason. You're opening it. I don't know. You can just say off and on. That's just what I always said, because for some reason that was ingrained in my head. But like I said, they didn't let me play drums in school. They had too many drummers. They didn't play it in band. I played... So in band in high school, well, not in high school, in middle school, I was rejected from being a drummer even though I was a drummer. So that was unfortunate, because I could have actually done something worth doing that I was good at, and they wouldn't let me because they were like, well, we have too many drummers. I thought it was it was weird. It's like, well, why'd you let so many people, like, yeah, it was right. There's like lines of them standing there and they wouldn't even do anything. And meanwhile, I was actually a drummer. So I actually still have my clarinet. I played clarinet, played trombone, I played French horn, played baritone horn, which actually was one of my favorite instruments. So I played all these different instruments because that was the only way I could be in band, because I really wanted to be a musician. And they wouldn't let me play what I wanted to play. So it was really discouraging when I finally got to high school. And it was very obvious to me that the band instructor intentionally kept me from finding out about band practice so they could cut me. Because they didn't tell me about summer band practice when it was supposed to be. I didn't get an alert about it or anything, and you got cut if you didn't show up. They just didn't tell me about it. I got no notification, nobody, my guidance counselor, nobody. And when I came to school, I expected to be in band, and everybody's just like kind of laughing about it, like, you got cut because you didn't show up. And I'm like, I didn't know about this. Nobody told me. And like, it was really messed up. But anyway, that was my experience in band. Just a lot of people with egos. So expect that. If you go into that business, expect that. A lot of people with egos. It's not everybody. There's some good people out there. But expect that. They think they're the best and stuff like that. Just expect that. Expect them to be that way and stuff like that. Be humble yourself. Don't be like that. Be humble yourself. Otherwise you won't ever actually get better. You just think you're the best at everything. So you already think that, you know what I mean? So, I did play a lot of instruments, and I played guitar growing up. I had an Epiphone Sunburst Les Paul. It was a solid body, and that was when my hair was like down to here, long blonde hair, and I had guitar lessons, and I wasn't bad. But I was always more natural at drums. I played a lot more like Wayne Static. Like lots of like, James Hetfield, Wayne Static. Like I wasn't really a solo player. Like I would do that stuff, but it was more like about cool sounding riffs and stuff like that. I just loved that. I would just come up with riffs and it was like cool. There's actually a riff I made for a video once, I think, and I uploaded it. It was just me playing guitar. So somewhere along the way, if you come across something on the channel, I forget what it was. I think it was something I uploaded for martial arts, maybe. But it was like literally just the riff was dude. It's literally just that. But I was like, yeah. I was like, it sounds like Ministry or something. I don't know, it sounded cool. I have I could get it if you want. I need to get a new pedal, but I always had an awesome pedal that disappeared on me. And I have my Sunburst, my Epiphone Sunburst Les Paul, I discovered that I didn't like it. And it's not a hate for Les Paul. It's not. I love the sound of the Les Paul. Truthfully, I think plenty of other people love Les Paul and love playing with him. I just, after playing it for so long, I realized that I didn't like how the fretboard felt. There's just something about that fretboard, about the way it doesn't feel deep enough when I press on the strings. There's just something about it. And when I picked up a Schecter, I immediately realized that was the guitar I was supposed to play. Like I tried the Deans. I picked up a Dean. And I didn't pick up a Schecter until way later. I had no guitar lessons or anything. This was like when I was working jobs and I just could buy stuff, for myself. And so I picked up a Schecter. And yeah, like I'd been trying other guitars in the store. I tried, like I said, the Dean. It was actually a Dimebag Dean that I tried. I didn't like it. Not at all. I really didn't like it. It was hard to play. So props to him for being such a good player that he could play that thing, because that was probably one of the hardest guitars to play in the whole place. Seriously, it was hard to play. I for the life of me, have no idea how that guy can play. Unless he's like a small dude and he has small fingers or something. Then that makes sense. I don't know anything about him, though. I don't think that's the case. I don't think he's particularly small or was, like shorter. I don't think he was tall or anything either, but I don't think he was like short or anything or small or anything. So, like, again, like, wow, that speaks volumes for how good of a player he was, because that was a really hard guitar to play. And same thing with Zach's guitar. Now, Wild Audio didn't exist then. Wild Audio did not exist then. I did pick up Zach's guitar. It was way out of my price range, though. I so badly wanted it. And they had not only the Grail, but they had like a Buzzsaw. I was like, oh, I want the Buzzsaw so bad. I want it so bad. I wanted the Buzzsaw. Love that thing. It was like $1,500. I'm like, man, I just like $1,500, man. So that I mean, like, it's a great guitar and it would have been amazing and it's worth every penny, but I just couldn't do it. And then the Schecter Damien series, I picked that up. Looked cool. It's just black, It's got bats on the fretboard. That's super cool. And then I started doing the fingerings and stuff and playing along. I plugged it in and I was like, this sounds good. It sounds chunky. And it sounds like I could play any kill switch I want, Kill switch, Sevendust, and it would sound good. And it was easy. And it was $350. It wasn't $1,500. It was $350. And it sounded great. And I still have it today. And so that was just, like me realizing way later, if I had this guitar early on, it probably would have been fine. And not that I didn't love my guitar that I had, but starting on something that's difficult to play. So, like, I'm glad I didn't get a Fender. I will say that. Like, I have nothing against Fender, but Fender is hard to play. So I'm glad I didn't have a Strat or like a Telecaster is easier. I will say that. Telecasters are a little bit easier than a Strat, but a Strat is really hard to play. Props to Clapton and Hendrix. Like, I have no idea how they did it. Those are some of the hardest guitars to play too. But it's a shallow fretboard. It's just, you have to press with a certain density and grace, if I'm saying that right. Like, you have to dance across that fretboard, man. And it's just different than a Les Paul. And with a Les Paul, it is a nice generalized guitar to get you used to guitars, but it wasn't the one that it was gonna speak to me when I was learning, and I didn't know that at the time. I needed Schecter, and Schecter wasn't a thing when I first got my guitar. It really wasn't. It was not a thing. I'd never heard of Schecter. And then I forget who it was. Somebody was playing Schecter, some guitarist, and I'm like, that sounds really good. I'm gonna look into that brand. And then I did, and then I went to the guitar store. Like I said, I tried all different ones. I didn't just pick up the Schecter. But then I picked up the Schecter, and I'm like, yeah. It's a really good guitar, man. I have to use that. There you go. That's what I was talking about. It's got EMG pickups too. So like that was a big thing too, is like I really wanted EMG pickups too, and this had them. It had the duals. So I was like, well, it's hard to argue. It's got 3 knobs. So that's awesome. I mean, 4 is cool, but like 3 is really what you need. You know, I mean, 4 you can, but 3 will get it done. Like I said, the dual AMG pickups, you still have the switch. On an Epiphone, that would say treble and rhythm, and then you have the middle still. So like, you still have that, and you have the bats in the inlay. See that? It really is a nice guitar. And it says Damien there. Flip it around here. So there you go. And then I'll cut those if I'm actually playing it. It's just last time I stringed it, I didn't need. So there you go. There it is. It needs cleaned. There's a few things on there. It needs cleaned, but I mean, it's still a nice guitar. I like it. Here's the back. Headstock's quality, man. That's what a lot of people get concerned about is the headstock quality. Yes, it's top quality. These are top quality headstocks the Schecter has. I put them up there with Gibson. Not even Epiphone, I put them up there with Gibson. These are quality headstocks. It's a good guitar. I always used, I mean, picks are picks, but I actually like Dunlop picks because they're bigger. So I always use Dunlop picks because like, there's a lot of picks out there that are too small. So that's why I always use Dunlop picks, but, I mean, picks are usually just picks. There's an Ernie Ball. There's an old Black Ice. There's an old... This is a soft pick, actually. Oh no, that's hard. So I got a whole set of Ernie Balls in here after saying about the Dunlop. But I mean, Ernie Balls are fine too. Like I said, picks are picks. Yeah, there's a whole set of Ernie Balls here. And they're the bigger ones. So like, since they're the bigger ones, they're actually fine. It's just that, like, for example, if you see here, we have a Black Ice. And that one actually is smaller than the rest. So I actually don't like that. I like the bigger picks. It's a pretty big fan. I use Ernie Ball strings though. So that's probably why I started using the picks. They're really thick strings. they're like some of the thickest you could get. Especially if I have any interesting things in these pockets. No, it's not. Just a guitar strap. So I got picks and strings up here, and then a guitar strap down here. The things you would expect to find in there. So yeah, there's my Schecter. Actually, I'm gonna be able to find another relic for you relatively quickly. Yeah, here we go. So this is my old... This is the original one, still works, but I gotta go switch again. I love these. These are amazing. This is my original amp. I love Crate. It is a 120. It's not a 90. People kept asking me, "Is that the 90? That's up." But no, it was actually it's the 120. The one up on that. So what everybody was like, "Oh, that's good," you know. So I got one of those. I found it. All right, sorry, I had to get a rag here. I found it. I found it. It's a relic. Now let me clean it off a little bit. A little dusty. It's a Yamaha. I make some of the best. Here it is. Tis a relic. And I remember, yep, still have a reed in here, I think. Yep, there's still a reed in there. It's not too new. I usually had a new one. Because reeds, you go through those quick. This is like old and brittle. Probably won't be able to use it. No, look at that thing. It's all broken. I'd have to get a new one. And it's in there wrong too. Just put it in the other way. That's funny. So I think somebody probably found it and was playing around with it. But this is not lip. This probably looks like lip balm, right? This is your cork grease. So when you put the clarinet together, you're supposed to smear this on here so that way you don't damage the cork. But yeah, here it is. Right here it is. My original clarinet. It's a Yamaha. Sure, it still sounds great. There's no way it would sound with that reed though. That reed, that would seriously, it would sound like squeak, squeak, squeak. It would be, it would just, and on this is your reed. So this goes on here. You put the reed here, and then you slide this on. Oh, there's no screws. Where are the screws? Oh yeah, somebody was screwing around with this. The screws are missing, so you have to buy screws. There's not even any screws here. Somebody opened it and was screwing around with it. So this goes on here. There's no reason why the screw, there's like little thumb screws that go in here. They're supposed to be in here. And you put the reed in here, and then you pull this tight and screw it. and the reed's on there. And then that's you put it to your mouth. It's awesome. But yeah, the clarinet was not easy to play. It was easy to learn, but then to play you have to have quite the pipes. You gotta have lung power, which I did. I always did. Hello. So yeah, there's the relics. I'll bet my old Epiphone's around somewhere. I'd have to find that thing's beat to hell though. That thing that thing got beat up. That's why I like, if you guys remember, I was playing my keyboard for you guys. Remember, we would start the stream and play my keyboard. I'll just come up with a lot of that stuff on the spot, honestly. Like, I like doing that. But yeah, I haven't done that for a little while. What? Oh my god, I just found my Wii U. Oh my god. What the hell? Oh my god, I just found my Wii U. Son of a bitch. Remember I said I was God. This is the part I've been missing. I have the rest of it. It's just been sitting. What the I'll bet it still works too. I literally just found it. Here's one of my Wii steering wheels. Yeah, like I have the Nerf. Here it is. These are amazing. I need to clean these and take these upstairs because I like these. I had the Nerf ones. These were so good. I gotta clean these up. There's like, I guess, but these are my old drawers from when I used to have them up there. And like I said, I found my Wii U screen that I've been missing. That's funny. Because I had everything that I needed for that except this. And you need it. You need that, this. You need this. Yeah, wow. I had my, oh wow. I had my gun and my Wii. Like, that's, wow. I wonder where this stuff got to. Here's one of my blue controllers I had. Some nunchucks down here. Yeah, I like the Nerf wheels. Those were always awesome. That's cool that I found that. There's my old 360 power block. That's in here too. That's crazy. What else I'll find? Random DVI cable. Oh, no way. Here's my old Logitech. I need to see if this still works. This was great. This was my old Logitech controller that I would use for PlayStation games. Because it was basically a PlayStation controller. It was such a good one, too. There's an old 360 corded controller. Actually, that might even be just an original Xbox one, but I'll read this line. Wow, here's an old GameStop controller. It just says GameStop on it. I found an old one. If I can get it out. It's an old corded controller for the original Xbox. And you can tell, now it's an off-brand, you can tell though it's the original because it has the white and black buttons. That's crazy. Yeah, like all this shit was in this drawer. Just forgot about this chest of drawers I brought down here. Well, is that really even a chest of drawers? It's like a plastic. It's like 3 drawers. It's like a plastic thing, you know, that you buy at the store. And it's like full of stuff. So it's like all my old consoles. It's like it's overflowing. I can't even. Oh wow! Here's my old Game Boy case, or my DS case. That's crazy. Like the Mario. Oh, now I know why this was down here. Because it has some guitar cables in it. That's probably why I brought it down here. Because there's guitar cables in here. That makes sense. You didn't remember that. Oh wow, here's an old Rock Band thing. I had Rock Band and Guitar Hero. I had Legends of Rock. Like the third one, I had World Tour. I loved World Tour because it had Zack as a playable character. Zack Wild is literally in World Tour as a playable character. Had Ozzy in it too. But Black Label Society was actually in, like Stillborn was on it. And Tool, I love Tool. Like World Tour just had some of the best music. But Legends of Rock was the better game, I think. Rock Band was such a solid game, though. That was the solid game. And so, like, Guitar Hero did do a good job, though, toward the end. Like I said, Legends of Rock, Guitar Hero 3 was really good. Zack, Fire It Up, I think, was in Guitar Hero 2. I'm pretty sure Black Label Society Fire It Up was in Guitar Hero 2. Pretty sure. I just didn't have that one. I had Legends of Rock, and that had, like, Slash right on the... Well, it wasn't really him. It was, like, his likeness, right? And then they actually had Zack in... they, like, put, like, the stuff on him and stuff and, like, created him for the game. And you had a battle with him and everything. It was really cool. And I loved that so much. I even like got it again, like years and years later when I wanted to play it again, because none of my guitar controllers worked anymore. So then I got it again years and years later. Now I always played it on Xbox, but I ended up getting it on Wii years and years later because I didn't have an Xbox to play it on. Well, 360 anyway. I always, I had the one for a long time. I loved the one. The one was really good. Play a lot of games on that. But anyway, we'll probably wrap up here, guys. We'll probably wrap up here. I appreciate you guys watching. And, you know, like drumming and stuff in front of you guys, talking about this stuff, talking about music and stuff. It's just part of the process of, like, just, you know, vlogging and being here with you guys and telling you guys how I look at stuff and sharing that with you. Sharing with you some of the tips and life lessons I've learned doing things and stuff like that. and maybe hopefully it helps in some way or gives you a motivational step forward towards, you know, like wanting to do something, you know, like if you want to play drums or you want to play music or you want to do this or that, you know, just hopefully it helps motivate you and stuff like that. You know, you can start anywhere. I'm really not that great of a drummer, and I really don't mind getting in front of you guys and playing. It doesn't bother me. I don't care. So like, you need to have that attitude too. Don't be afraid to do that. You know, not care what people think and stuff like that. That's important. And then it's also that important to care if you get fans. Care what the fans then think too. So if you actually have, you know, like you do something with talent and you finally get those people to care about them, you know, and care about that, you know, giving them what they want then too. Because then that was what it was all about, right? Making people happy, you know, and at least I think that's what it is for most of them, you know. Joy, and bringing joy, and you know, if it gives them if it pays the bills at the end of the day too, then that's a huge bonus, right? It's got to pay the bills, obviously, but anyway. Thanks, guys, for watching. I appreciate it.